Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroad where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future, shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, and we are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Well, hello, and welcome to Real Talk with the Cummings. My name is Mark and Lynna.
And I'm Lynna Ariel. Thank you guys for joining
Yes,
us on this special evening.
Yes, it's different celebrations for different people. And
Yes.
And it's really amazing how certain births have been brought to the forefront to be celebrated. And there's just so many different things that actually go behind it. But happy solstice. That's for sure. We know that happens. You know, it's a celebration of
Happy solstice.
Yeah, so what did I call it? Solstice? I don't
Solstice?
know. I'm Cuban. I mess everything up. You can never
That's
go.
okay. I'm
why.
Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
so I guess I'm.
But I was actually
the Cuban.
born in Cuba, so English is
Yeah.
definitely not my first language. I
Could
remember
have fooled me.
I went to school.
You talk really well.
I tried to. But,
Anybody think that he has some kind of an accent?
well, it's not an accent. I just make up my own words because it's like I think of things in Spanish, I guess, still, and it just all gets all mumbled up. But anyway, welcome, and
Yes,
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Anyway, we're going to start the show with a few little Christmas songs. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I haven't been, I've got this kind of thing going
It's
on.
okay.
So, you know, can't guarantee that your ears aren't going to be.
We don't know how it's going to sound because
the microphone.
our microphone's not that great.
Yeah, so. But it's the thought that counts and just to be in the spirit of things. So, here.
You're going to auto-scroll it?
No, because it's only going to
okay,
go
it's
up
all
to
good.
it. Well, I guess I could auto-scroll it.
Do
But
whatever you want.
anyway, let's see. Here we go. I don't want to go here. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yule times gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Once again in the olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fate allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are in the olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fate allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas now. Something like that. And let's see what else we got. We got a few more. That is, if you guys want us to continue. If we're in agony.
I don't know what it sounds like.
I don't know if it sounds horrible or
we're just singing.
We're just doing this. Let's do a White Christmas. And we didn't have a White Christmas this year. Usually Silver City snows the day before or after, but it hasn't. And you could all join us.
Yes. Everybody sing along.
Right. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be Ta-da. All right, so we got one more, and then we'll have one last one for the closing.
Oh, we have one more?
Yeah, we have one more. Oh, Feliz Navidad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. ¡Epa! Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, feliz Navidad, feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. And that's all we're going to put you guys through for now. You all sat through it. You need.
Oh, Elaine said she was playing the tambourine.
Oh, awesome.
And Damien's dancing.
And Damien's dancing. That was awesome.
Oh, and Gemma says it's buffering badly.
Is it really?
Sorry, it's like.
Oh, well.
We got snow yesterday on my birthday. Yes.
Wow.
Snowman.
That's awesome. I need to drink
Merry
some
Christmas,
water here.
Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. And Tracy says, wonderful. Heat wave over most Australia, she said it.
Because it's your summer now, right? When it's winter here in the United States, it's summer in Australia. I have a few friends from Australia. And it always seems like when they're getting ready to do their gardens, and everything's dying over here. So it's usually the opposite. But yeah. So I'm sure all of you watched some of the videos we put up going to Angel Camp. That was an amazing experience.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know that, those that have watched that video have been really touched by it, because what we captured there that day,
it was amazing.
Was magic.
When I was hugging Gordon, and I was told to tell him everything's going to be okay. And you guys couldn't hear what I said. He just reacted.
Yeah.
And that's the message that I got from my higher self, to tell him everything was going to be okay. And it was just like such a magical moment that I'll never forget. I mean, hugging is something so amazing. And it's an interchange of our energies. Like the God in me honors the God in you, and we're just becoming one. And when you hug somebody, you just want to become part of them. And the two will become one. And that is the most amazing feeling ever. And that's what the world needs: more hugging, more eye contact, more love. None of these rules and regulation and having our power stripped away from us, you know?
Damien said, did you give Gordon a
hug
for us?
Yes, for everyone. That's why I was just everybody.
Hugs to oblivion.
Yeah, exactly. Till the day we all get to unite and do it together, because we got to make that happen somehow, some way.
Beautiful. I mean, like when we first saw him, we're driving up to Sweet Tomatoes in Tucson, and he's just like on the side of the street there going,
jumping.
Hey, it's me. Yeah. I was like, wow, he's like a little kid.
Well, he is. He's got this beautiful energy.
And this joy.
Beautiful energy.
It was amazing.
That's what we all need to learn to connect to. That childlike essence of pureness. No ego, no fear, no guilt. And it's just that childlike, that's where we're going to really
awesome. And then we just sat down and we ate with him and stuff. And there were moments I remember when he just held on. Remember, he was totally holding on to hands and just really I don't know.
Amazing.
It's just a beautiful connection that we had with him. To think that there was anything to do with anything that we thought
that wasn't even anything that was just disappeared. And I think that's what we as humans are going to evolve to. This consciousness that we are finally going to tap into and free ourselves from all these fear and ego and worrying about what other people think and putting on this facade. We need to break free from all that and really be our true selves, because that trauma that we have been put through is going to have to melt away, and our true essence will come out. And family, we're going to be the happiest for it. There's so much stuff that it's like we're going through a quickening, a lot of learning, a lot of downloads, a lot of things that are taking place, and it's exciting. We're not going to cover all that on today's show because it's the Christmas special, but we want, as a family, because we're all equals, to brainstorm and get ourselves out of this mess that we have been put in, with all this religiosity and with all these rules and regulations and all these dogma. That's not how we were ever meant to live our lives. We've been taken advantage of. And we're going to break free. I promise every single one of you, everything is going to be all right.
Oh, they wanted to ask, Blue Bottle 184 wanted to ask how it all cleared up.
Yeah.
Because apparently they thought that I had gone down there or something like that. But as soon as Gordon saw me, he's like, you are much taller than
the person that
I thought was you. And, he's just it was just an honest mistake.
Yeah.
An honest mistake, because this person showed up at Monument Valley and they were there, and, they shared moments and stuff. And I guess they were at Emmanuel Pines too, but I mean, it wasn't me. And he's like, yeah, for sure. It wasn't you, so we got that all figured out. And he apologized and I apologized to him. And, everything was there was nothing nothing at all like holding us back from each other.
No, because it's almost like we've
love.
known him all our lives, as I'm sure that we feel the same way about every single one of you. It's like a family reuniting. You know, it's like whatever's taking place, this quickening, this shift, this, I can't even find words for it. And it's just like, and I'm sure you all feel it. I'm sure every single one of you is feeling like a veil being removed. And it's just, I can't find the words to explain what we're feeling and what is going to transpire within the next, I can't even put a time frame because, you know, spirits don't have time frame. It's only this worldly thing that we use time with. But
there's just beautiful things happening. And, you know, tonight's a beautiful night for lots of people. And, you know, although we don't celebrate it as I used to in the past, you know, I mean, even like maybe a month ago, I would have celebrated it differently. But the spirit of Christ that's born within each one of us is worth celebrating every single day. But we can take advantage of this beautiful time where we're able to, you know, gather around friends and family and to have warm, you know, sentiments and feelings and opportunities to hug people, opportunities to forgive those that we have, you know, issues with, you know, because there's always like something going on with families.
Yes.
They always have like these things that they're dealing with.
Well, because it's part of the agenda. It's part of the whole concept, you know, with calling it, you know, the Christ within us. That's a word. That's a human word. We like to label things. And a lot of the stuff that we're doing is still going through religious programming that we're trying to fit into the new understanding and the new awakening that's taking place. So we're going to still use some words that may reflect to our old belief system, but I'm sure with time we will learn a new way of calling things and understanding it. Tracy says, where did I see her? Says, I'm DNA changing. Definitely spot on, sis. There is something taking place. Our DNA that was once disconnected is being reconnected. Okay, with all that junk DNA that they're calling it is not junk. It was purposely by these beings that have a head start over us, and they're trying to be our gods. And they're trying to shape our views and our belief system to keep us here because they like it. They like being the man on top.
Yeah.
But we have just as much, if not more power than they do. And it's time to wake up, and it's time to get ourselves working and get ourselves together and get ourselves out of this mess, because we are in a mess and we don't belong where we're at right now. So we're gonna make sure that as a family we work through this and are able to get out of here, okay, and really create the best potential that we could possibly create.
And we're really learning a lot about, you know, giving our power away, giving our essence of divinity away,
yes,
to some outside source that we have been taught by, you know, tradition and family tradition and circumstance and religion to give ourselves away to that power. But, you know, there's no one here that we should be adoring other than the nature that we have within ourselves, you know, because
and giving love,
we shouldn't be giving that love and worship away to some other being, you know, of like
some other deity.
If we owe it anything,
right?
You know, and so that's one of the things that we're really kind of like analyzing and trying to put into a sphere of understanding.
Yeah.
You know, like even the prayers that we would say at the end of our time together here.
It's no longer to be called a prayer, because prayer is almost like you're like begging. It's a manifestation. We as a community, as a family, will get to manifest everything and anything, and the more of us in power, the more we get to manifest, and in all in good, loving sense, you know. And see, Damien says something here that what did he say? Yes, Tracy. He said something I can't. He said something. I'm feeling you, Mark, or something. Yeah. Oh, okay, right here. Mark, yes, I'm feeling you.
And then Gemma says, yes, like we found ourselves in each other.
Exactly. And we've, you know, it's like when you're in school that the bully always took your school money and you didn't think that you could defend yourself against that bully, so you kept giving him your school money. Well, it's time that we as a species realize that that bully can't hurt us. I mean, we don't have to give him our school money. We've got, like the Christ consciousness says, you know, all that you need is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within us. We don't even realize how wonderful we are because we've been told from the time we're little we're worthless. We've been taught to give our powers away. It's time to how do I say it?
It's time to really, like, you know, look at yourself in a mirror, but don't look at yourself like your physical self, but look at yourself, the true self that you are, the beautiful, beautiful, radiant, eternal spirit that is you.
Yeah.
And connect with that, because that is what beauty is all about. It's not about this physical world. It's not about this avatar that we sit inside of. It's about, you know, this eternal essence of us that we have, that we are divine spirits, and that, you know, we were disconnected from understanding that we are sovereign beings, that we are beings of light, that have the power to change this world. You know, they've been hive minding our brains in doing all kinds of evil, aiding and abetting in all kinds of destruction on the planet. It's time that we start hive minding ourselves to do the things that that make a difference, to make people's lives better.
To take care of one another, you know, with all of this, you know, enslavement and chains and laws and things that benefits them, the ones that are ruling this world. I mean, if we really take a look at what kind of life are we leading here? You know, people working 40 plus hours a week, never getting to spend time with their families. Every little nickel that they work has to go either to rent, you know, they tax you up the yin yang. I mean, these banking systems, the world is just, we're slaves.
Even this season, like just a couple hours ago, there were people at Walmart buying stuff, last minute gifts, worrying, taxing up their credit cards, filling up their
year after year.
I mean, stressing out over what to get their husband, what to get their sons or daughter or whatever, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're all fearful.
And instead of giving love,
stressed out.
Giving love and realizing that every day is a day to celebrate one another. Every day is a day to create a wonderful world, because we are creator gods and our minds could create anything and everything. We've been taught to think of the negative. We've been taught to create bad things because that's what we dwell on. So, you know, our purpose here at Real Talk with the Cummings is to really create a platform where we could all share and brainstorm in ways that we can make our lives better, how we can empower ourselves as a family, because we're all equal. I don't know more than you know, and you don't know more than I know. We're all learning, and I think as a consciousness, we're just evolving, and it's so exciting. I wrote a little something here: breaking free from the tired out belief systems that have enslaved us throughout our lifetimes. The time is now, folks. The quickening is taking place, putting the map pieces together to escape this prison planet. And that's what I feel like. Every time we learn something, or it's like, oh, here's a piece of a map, and here's another piece of a map.
Here's another piece. Oh, okay, now we can maybe put this all together and get out of here.
Yeah, because that's the name of the game.
Girl with No Name Spooner says, keep your sovereignty. Find your answers within, because they are already written in your DNA.
Exactly.
And Michelle DeHaven writes, where was it? Renee Debovitz wrote, we are more powerful in love than any spiritual or physical weapon formed against us.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know, love has such a powerful essence to it, you know, and when you really tap into that, and people go, there's different definitions of love, but when you tap into that spiritual love of brotherhood, of one consciousness, there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it.
Do you remember the scene in the original, that Wonder Woman movie that recently came out, that she didn't know that she was the daughter of a god, you know, and that she is being trained, but then when she realized who she was and the power that she had, I mean, that one scene where she like does this thing and then it like blows everything, and it's like, that's who we are.
Yeah, we have that capability. We just have not been able to tap into it.
And it's not selfish to claim that. No. I mean, I think that we have been conditioned by religion and the world that we live in to be ashamed of ourselves, to think of ourselves as lowly, to think of ourselves as undeserving of anything. And it's like, you know, oh, we have a debt to pay and that we need a savior and that it's selfish if we think that we can do things in our own strength. But the truth is that we can. You know, the truth is that it's not selfish to be that way. It's not wrong for
It's how they keep us
to
here.
hold ourselves with value.
Yeah, that's how they keep us here, by, you know, having that debt to pay. It's a debt system. If you look all around it, it's a debt and imprisonment system. And it's been created to keep us here. When you die, soul gets brought back here again. It's not that. That's not how it's meant to be.
And the sinister plan that is in the works, we're going to explain to you guys in the coming days about the singularity, which is supposed to take place in 2045, where cyborg and AI and all these nanotechnologies and stuff are going to physically try to replace, you know, our own organs and stuff, and try to keep us entrapped in this dimension forever. You know,
and that's what we need to wake up.
To escape from.
Yeah, we need to wake up. So Damien says, the system tried to hide who I am through suppression and labels and lies. Grr, time to stand. Exactly.
I think it's about remembering our relationship with the Father and His will.
I think it's a little bit, we've got to look at, when we say Father, we've got to be very careful. What Father? What Father are we talking about? Because it was Enki, NL, there's a bunch of different advanced beings that are trying to play the role of the Father. I truly believe that prime creator, the spark, that initial, that doesn't have a name, created everything. And it's like, he's not sitting there like NL and all these other ones that are wanting to worship. You know, we are a part of this great creator, and we have a role to play, but we have been stunted and we have been taught to worship. And that's what keeps us here, because these other deities want to take control over us. So we have to be very careful. I believe we all have a higher self, you know, a higher self in another dimension that's kind of like helping us. Hey, come on, you can do this. Come on. That's the voice that you hear sometimes. And that's who during your sleep state that tries to like maybe mentor you, and you don't remember, because we don't remember what happens when we're in that deep sleep. And I don't claim to know it all. I mean, we're growing here. We're learning. So,
yeah,
but
we could be wrong, but we can at least be, you know, exploring these ideas together, these concepts together, and refining them and throwing out what we don't accept and taking in what we do, you know. And it's like, you know, we're caught as humans here on this planet. We are caught between this material existence that we have, that we're experiencing right now, and with the spiritual, where, you know, when our bodies go to sleep and we shut down for the night, you know, there's like, we are existing in a different dimension. And it's something that, you know, that isn't really ever been explained by science or anything like that, but we are kind of like stuck in between. Like our foot is in two dimensions at the same time. And, you know,
the funny thing is, all this is going to come out, because it's like that quickening that's taking place. We are going to learn so much and be revealed so much that it's, you know, we've got to be ready for this. That's why you got to take care of your vessel, so that you could handle the downloads that are going to be coming. And people are going to try to call you demonic and this and the other, because that is what they've done. They have made us feel like if we dare question, or if we dare explore these things, that we are exploring in unknown territories, and we shouldn't be doing that.
Or if we dare not give our allegiance and our worship to a higher supreme being, that we are somehow doing something wrong, because we are supposed to be subject to something. And, you know, I remember just the other day, about a week ago, we were listening to a preacher talking about how you're going to be enslaved to one master or the other, you know. I mean, and then Jesus would say, you cannot serve two masters. Either you love one and hate the other. And what I'm saying is that we don't need to be enslaved to any master. We don't have to be in chains to anyone. You know, we are our own sovereign being. And it's time that we claim our rights back as these sovereign beings.
So Girl with No Name Spooner says, I'm you, you are me, we are each other. The Spirit of Christ connects each of us. feel the love. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, the one energy that words cannot give a name to.
Exactly.
Can't be long. 4G gives me headaches and ear ringing bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Test show me this. I miss you all.
We miss you.
She's been having problems with just physically, because she feels like the Wi-Fi signals and the 4G signals and other things.
Because you're becoming sensitive and you're becoming more aware. That's part of the quickening that's taking place. You know, it's like I've been having a lot of headaches lately too, and this congestion, and it's like very tired, extremely tired. Something is happening. There is massive changes going on within our DNA, within the inner core of us.
And that's what Tracy was saying, that our DNA is changing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's coming
alive.
alive.
It is. And we're, you know, our human body is reacting to it, and we're becoming very sensitive to things, sensitive to light, sensitive to all sorts of different things, because, you know, it gets worse before it gets better. Whenever there's a new, it's like when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it goes through this weird stage of things to then, you know, be set free.
Renee says, we have forgotten who we are.
Exactly. And we have to remember. How does that sound in our ears? Remember. It's nothing that we have to learn. We just have to remember it, because we already know everything we need is inside of us. Everything we need to know is already there. We just have to remember.
It's like reconnect.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
And
Damien says, yes, we are remembering. Merry Christmas, family.
Says, Catherine, Merry Christmas. Embrace the gifts you are given by the Father, and use in Christ and use them freely.
Yes.
Creator of all is, as Gerald Clark says.
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, very few people hear of the creator of all. And that's because he's not like this overpowering Lord that needs your worship, that's jealous, that wants you to sacrifice all these things, that wants you to bow down, because the creator of all doesn't need all that. You know, he wants us to like, get with the program, kids. You know, look at your divinity. I've made you perfect in every way. Now start doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know, these other beings that are more, I hate to use the word, they're not more advanced. They're just, you know, a little ahead of the game, but we're going to get there. And they don't want us to. They want to stop us. But these individuals like their little role that they're playing. They like us to be their little slaves. It's like, I ain't slaving no more.
It's sort of like when we saw the movie Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge letdown when we get to almost the end of the movie and we find out who Oz, the wizard, is.
A bald man behind this little whole gizmo.
A little guy who's worried about, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's afraid of his own shadow, and here he is.
And Hollywood has all
everything.
These little movies that kind of give us all these superhero movies, all these stuff that give us a clue, because they're supposed to kind of tell us what's going on without directly telling us. And so we're supposed to get those little map pieces together and go, oh, okay, whoa, okay, now I got to go from here to here to here. And that's what we got to do.
And that's what these entities do. They have a universal law to abide by. There's this galactic law that's in place that they have to abide by. Yeah. And basically they have to reveal what they're doing. And, you know, either they put it out there so that you're unwittingly or wittingly understanding it. But either way, even if it's like, well, we're not responsible because we told them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, if they're worshiping us, it's because they chose to.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, well, it's not like you didn't say that we're going to burn in hell if we don't.
Exactly, because that's how they keep us in fear, you know. And it's like neither Enki nor Enlil is the good guy. They really, it's like there is a war for our spirit, folks. There is a massive Star Wars up there going on for our spirit. We must have something really good that they want, you know, and we don't even know it ourselves. And it's time for us to wake up. Tracy says, I like Great Spirit Source, and adding to that the list now, the new one I got from you, Mark, Prime Creator. Yeah, because that's the Prime Creator. That's like the big kahoni, you know, kahuni or whatever. And
big kahuna.
Kahuna, you know. And
Hawaiian friends, I guess.
Yes.
They don't have energy that is eternal. We do. They feed off of our hatred, anger, etc.
Exactly. But you know what dismantles them? Love. So the more we are in that frequency of love, you know, the more we are in gratitude, the more we empower ourselves, they can't touch us.
And love is the weapon. And, you know, people would say, oh, no, love isn't, love is the weapon that we use, because there's nothing that can stand against love. I mean, what we experienced with Gordon and the folks over there at Angel Camp was just this powerful emanating force of love. And, you know, he was talking about the group hug, that they can't just generate it, randomly. It just spontaneously happens, you know. I mean, they can't present it, you know. So, but he said that when they get into that kind of oneness, it's like they can literally hear a humming happen. And I believe that that's exactly where healings can happen. People can have miracles happen in their life. You know, a whole like addiction thing can be ended. You know, that is where these things can take place.
Exactly.
And that's only when we're in love with one another.
Because it's a frequency. Everything's energy. Every single thing on this planet is energy. We're full of energy. Love is an energy. So when you're tapping to that love energy, that love frequency, it's healing. It's just, there's no words to explain, but I think those of you that are watching get it. You understand that when you're in that love frequency, oh my gosh, it's like, it's a new day. It's a new world. It's a new feeling. Anything's possible, you know?
Yeah, they want our souls.
Yes, so we can't allow them to have that. And we need to really, we need to step up to the plate and start reaching out to one another, to your neighbors, to everyone, to like emit that love, emit that, you know, being grateful. Enough of the fears, enough of the guilt. We need to get rid of all those negative frequencies and only rise up so that we could actually leave this place, you know?
And recognizing that, you know, that divine being, that divine sovereignty of every individual, every person on this planet is a vessel, and is a sovereign being of that divine spark, that essence from the spiritual universe that we all emanate from, that we've been trapped in these bodies to have to splinter ourselves and stuff and try to figure a way out of the maze. But, you know, the reality is that, you know, this ability to love every single human being is powerful. It's so powerful that we could actually look across the street and look at our neighbor and not judge them, and to just see the God in them, and they see the God in us, and for us to just together do great things.
And respect one another. That's why I love the term namaste, which means the God in me honors the God in you. You know, and we're equal. We're here to co-create. You know, that's why Jesus says, why do you marvel at what I do? You two will do greater things than I. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Let that sound in your ear. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Doesn't that ring like something very, very like, yes, that kingdom is within us, you know? And what else do we have here? Unconditional, real, true love. Love is all that matters. That's right, Hannah. And what does Laura say? If they want our souls, I'll share mine. I would not exclude the darkness of demons. What is Laura trying to say about that?
I'm not sure. I didn't read it.
Okay.
I see your love light. Wow.
Oh, wow. Thank you,
Heaven
Sharon.
is not a place, but a oneness.
Exactly. It's what's inside of us. You know, hell is this planet that we have been imprisoned to, prison planet. Heaven is within us. So think about it. If we're living based on this world, on this planet, we are living in hell. If we live within us and not worry about the materialistic stuff, and we're going within, then we are in heaven. You know, hell, heaven. That's pretty much what and see here, German Church. Yes, and give freely without expectation and judgment. Love and truth is a gift meant to be shared in peace. Exactly. Yes. Okay, so Usually this night, people gather around to open gifts, right? Tonight, we're going to do something totally different. We will give the gift of life, the gift of freedom, sovereignty from today and onward. We have to promise ourselves that we're going to, from this day onward, give the gift of life, the gift of freedom, and the gift of sovereignty. We promise one another that we will be light, the gift of giving true insight. We will bring down the walls of hurt, fear, and guilt, and replace it with gratitude, love, and forgiveness. So let's all take a vow that we will, from this day onward, we will break down the walls of hurt, fear, and guilt, and replace it with gratitude, love, and forgiveness. Okay, so that'll be a little mantra. We'll bring down the walls of hurt, fear, and guilt, and replace it with gratitude, love, and forgiveness.
Not for some, but
for all. Power to the people.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So,
Christmas has its origins in the 4th century, December 25th, which Christians now herald as Jesus' birthday, was actually the date on which the Romans celebrated the birth of the sun god.
After the Roman Emperor Constantine converted the Christianity of Milvian Bridge in 312, he sought to combine the worship of the sun god with the worship of Christ. Christians later accepted Constantine's conversion in a positive light and saw that Christ Mass celebration as a vital part of the process of converting the pagan world.
Long before Constantine, Christians found ways to redeem local cultures and salvage elements in those cultures that naturally pointed to Christ, whether Hebrew, Syrian, Greek, or Roman. They denounced inhumane pagan practices, but at the same time took over pagan temples and converted them to churches. They replaced the old gods in popular devotion with heroic martyrs of the persecutions, and they replaced the holy days of paganism with festivals of the Christian year.
So, I mean, here we are every year celebrating something that is based on a fabrication, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, what isn't a fabrication though?
In this world, everything
the feeling that one gets when one is with one's family.
Right.
And
but you can do that every day.
Well, yeah, but at this time of the year, it's when they get more time off and schools don't have classes and the kids are at home, and you know, this is the time when, you know, it's supposedly called the most wonderful time of the year.
Right. And I see what you're saying. You know where I'm coming from? This is like,
I know.
So the slaves, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, no, I'm not. But I'm saying the slaves have been given designated time to be with their family. So we're trying to break free from all the old patterns, and we're trying to empower people to realize that every day is a day for you to celebrate. Every day is a day for you to be with your family. That don't allow the corporations, don't allow this world to take away your joy and tell you when you should laugh, when you should cry, when you should celebrate. You are a sovereign being. Prayers out. Anyway, there's two stories for Christmas story that I found out, and the New Testament actually
contains 2 Christmas stories, and not just one.
Right.
They appear in Matthew 1 and 2 chapters and Luke 1 and 2. They're not found in Mark, and they're not found in John. They have had some points in common, but there are many differences in their characters, the plot, the messages, and the tone.
In the familiar version of Christmas story, Mary and Joseph traveled from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Because there were no room in the inn, the baby Jesus is born in a stable and placed in a manger. His humble birth is celebrated by choirs of angels and shepherds, and is given precious gifts by the mysterious Magi. This version freely blends material from the 2 biblical accounts. It has become enshrined in Christmas carol and stable scenes, as well as the liturgical cycle of readings during the Christmas season.
My purpose here is not to criticize blending the 2 Christmas stories or to debate the historicity of the events they describe. What I want to show is that by harmonizing the 2 stories, we may be missing points that were especially important for Matthew and Luke, respectively. I also want to suggest that appreciating each biblical account separately might open a new perspective on the infancy narratives for people today.
Let's see what some of the comments are, we don't fall behind. So, for all forgive ourselves. So Gemma, is that the? No, where does it go?
Just you're scrolling.
Well, go ahead and scroll because it's not for me to do it.
But there's nothing for me. The comments are down here.
Okay, so Gemma says, for all forgive ourselves first, then we can accept it. It's just another day. You're right, Mark.
I opted out for that reason. I share Christ every day in gratitude, says Gemma.
Yep.
Damien says, back soon. Oh, thank you, Damien. Blah, 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 jump swing. The kid was born in a manger, so what's with the tree? What's a pagan? Well, a pagan and a tree.
Well, I think pagan believes they honor Mother Earth. They honor everything that's living. And, they celebrate the solstice and celebrate Mother Earth and things of that nature. Tracy says, just checking in to say, I love you, peace on earth and goodwill to all. Thank you, Tracy. So
in the Bible, and the believer how to read the Bible critically and religiously, Mark Z. Bretler, Peter Enns, and I explore how each of our religious traditions, Jewish, evangelical, and Catholic, tries to bring together the modern historical critical reading of the Bible and contemporary religious faith and practice.
There are, of course, many differences among us, but there are some principles we hold in common. The value of reading biblical texts in the original historical setting, the need for careful analysis of literally dimensions of each text, and respect for what seems to have been the intentions of the original author.
Applying these principles to the two Christmas stories in the New Testament will reveal more clearly their historical significance, distinctive literary character, and theological riches.
Matthew wrote his gospel in the late 1st century, perhaps in Antioch of Syria. He was a Jewish Christian writing primarily for other Jewish Christians. He wanted to show that the legacy of biblical Israel was just fulfilled and the community formed around the memory of Jesus of Nazareth.
Now that the Jerusalem temple had been destroyed and Roman control over Jews was even tighter, all Jews had to face the question, how is the heritage of Israel as God's people to be carried out? Matthew's answer lay in stressing the Jewishness of Jesus.
This setting helps to explain why Matthew told his Christmas story as he did. He began with a genealogy and relates Jesus to Abraham and David, while including several women of dubious reputation who nonetheless highlight the new thing God was doing in Jesus.
Next, he explains how the virginal conception of Jesus through the Holy Spirit fulfilled Isaiah's prophecy, and how Jesus, the Son of God, became the legal son of David through Joseph.
Besides Jesus, Joseph is the main character in Matthew's Christmas story. Guided by dreams like the biblical namesake, he is the divinity designated protector of Mary and her child Jesus.
The Magi story in Matthew 2 is part of a larger sequence that involves danger for the newborn child and his parents. When King Herod hears about the child, the king of the Jews, as a potential rival for his power, he seeks to have Jesus killed.
Let's see what we got here. Let's go over some.
I faintly recall that, according to historical research, Jesus should have been born sometime in September. Yeah, personally, I've had the opportunity to travel to Israel and to Bethlehem, actually, and I would definitely state that by December, there's no way that there are any shepherds going to be caught dead outside because it is cold,
right,
and there are no sheep grazing at that point there. So I would say that, it would have been more like September, August-ish or something.
Right. So well, my question is, because they said that Constantine created the celebration of the birth of Nimrod, the sun god, with Jesus. So why wouldn't the birth of Jesus have been given its proper day of birth if there was such,
Well, I think it's because they were wanting to bring in this pagan celebration and Christianize it and try to get the pagans to convert to Christianity. And so
it was all like the Nicaea type of thing. So Phoenix says, without the female aspect, which men hide, we won't get anywhere.
I find it really interesting that, this whole concept of like you know, and in the days of Caesar Augustus, you know, the people were told that they needed to go and to these villages and countries and villages and towns that their, you know, relatives visited like 15 generations before. How in the world is Joseph supposed to remember where his lineage comes from? I mean, do you know where your 15 generation great grandfather lived? You know, and then this whole impregnation, you know,
it was like
basically like a rape that occurred, you know, by the Holy Spirit. You know, I think it's really, I mean, this girl was like 14 years old or something.
There's
I mean, there's some really crazy symbology that, you know, and I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade.
No, but it's not raining. I mean, it's just, I mean, the time for revelation is now. The time for the apocalypse, which is the unveiling, the revealing, is now. You know, we've been sold a lot of lies for many years. It's time to wake up. It's time to learn the truth.
Interestingly, Renee Debovitz says 9/11 is supposed to be Jesus' birthday.
Oh,
Derek also mentioned this.
Interesting.
Renee, I believe that he said born in March, Pisces, and crucified on 9/11.
Huh. Well, the Twin Towers falling down, there is some sort of symbolicness to it all. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't really matter when he was born.
No.
Because, you know, the truth of the matter is that Mark and I, you know, contrary to what I used to believe in the past, we kind of embraced the thought that this Jesus character, whether he was a physical baby born in a manger or wherever, that he was just a man.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, later on in his life, he had a revelation
mm-hmm.
of understanding and a download of truth. Exactly. That he, while his parents and his brothers and sisters thought he had gone mad, they didn't think that he was capable of being this person that he said he was.
Yeah, maybe,
you know, and he never really
maybe a walk-in walked into Jesus and revealed the Christ consciousness. Boom. And I mean, who knows? Anything's possible. That's why we are brainstorming together, investigating together, so we could finally, you know, find that truth. We just got to pick all the little pieces of that map, put it together so we could find the treasure. Remember, it doesn't matter when he was born. That's right. It does just.
It doesn't. Just his words and his love is all we need to know.
Exactly. That consciousness that we all need to embrace, that kingdom within us that we need to understand, and that remembrance of who we are.
She said at home, said, Xmas Day is a memorial to my husband who died this day. So I don't do Xmas Day, but I hope everyone else has a joy-filled day. And we are so sorry.
Yeah, you know. It's rough, you know. It's losing someone you love and having to remember them by certain days. But, you know, we love you and we feel you. Phil, Merry Christmas, Mark and Lynna. Hello, Phil.
Hi,
Long time.
Phil, yeah.
No see or hear.
Renee says, sometimes I feel like this physical realm of Earth would not exist without humans. We are the batteries of energy that run this world and why they need to control us.
Yes, you know, the way this is my opinion, I see that these Anunnakis, these alien advanced species that have made themselves appear as our gods, enslaved us so that they can use our energy for whatever works it is that they're doing. You know, I don't have all the answers, but I do feel that we were genetically created for slavehood, and it's time for us to free ourselves, you know? And let's see, okay. So as a result, the family flees to Egypt while Herod orders the execution of all boys under 2 years old in the area of Bethlehem. Only after Herod's death does the family return to the land of Israel, thought to Nazareth rather than Bethlehem. At each point in their itinerary, the family is guided by dreams and texts from the Jewish scriptures.
In his Christmas story, Matthew wants us to learn who Jesus is, son of Abraham, son of David, son of God, and how he got from Bethlehem to Nazareth. Thus, he establishes the Jewish identity of Jesus, while foreshadowing the mystery of the cross and the inclusion of non-Jews in the church. The tone is serious, somber, and foreboding.
Luke wrote his gospel about the same time as Matthew did, but independently. In the late 1st century, he composed 2 volumes, one about Jesus' life and death, Luke's Gospel, and the other about the spread of Christianity from Jerusalem to Rome, Acts of the Apostle.
The dynamic of the 2 books is captured by words now in Luke 2:32, taken from Isaiah 42:6, 46:13, 49:6, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, Acts, and for the glory to your people Israel, the Gospel.
While in the prologue 1 through 1:4, Luke shows himself to be a master of classical Greek. In his infancy narrative, he shifts into Bible Greek, in the style of the narrative books of the Old Testament in their Greek translations. Also, there are many characters besides Jesus: Zechariah and Elizabeth, John the Baptist, Mary and Simeon and Anna, as well as various angels and shepherds.
These figures represent the best in Jewish piety. Thus, Luke creates an ideal picture of the Israel into which Jesus is born. In the gross structure of his infancy narrative, Luke seems intent on comparing John the Baptist and Jesus. His point is that while John is great, Jesus is even greater.
So the announcement of John's birth as a forerunner of the Messiah is balanced by the announcement of Jesus' birth as the Son of the Most High. That's 1 through 5, 25, 1, 26 through 56. And so the account of John's birth and naming is balanced by the birth and naming of Jesus as Savior, Messiah, and Lord, 1 57 through 80 and 2, 1 through 40.
Luke portrays Jesus and his family as observant with regard to Jewish laws and customs. At the same time, there are subtle digs at the Roman emperor and his claims to divinity. The narratives are punctuated by triumphant songs of joy. They are well known by their traditional Latin titles: Magnificat, 146 through 40, Benedictus, 168 through 79, and Nunc Dimittis, 29 through 32. These are pastiches of words and phrases from Israel's scriptures, and they serve to praise the God of Israel for what he was doing in and through Jesus.
With his infancy narrative, Luke wants to root Jesus in the best of Israel piety, while hinting at Jesus' significance for all people of the world. That is why Luke's genealogy of Jesus goes back beyond Abraham all the way to Adam. Luke's infancy narrative has provided the framework for the traditional Christian story. His tone is upbeat, celebratory, and even romantic.
I have shown one way to read the Christmas stories of Matthew and Luke. It is a way that respects their historical context, literary skills, and intentions. It's not the only way. Indeed, during this Christmas season, I will be celebrating the traditional Christmas story in the 2 parishes in which I serve regularly as a Catholic priest. What I hope to have shown here is that there is more to the biblical Christmas stories than gets included in the traditional account. And, I mean, I look at those, the narratives that Matthew gives and the narrative that Luke, a Greek doctor, gave, and I just think that it's all part of forming a narrative for, further enslaving people to the thought that we need to be rescued, that we need to be saved from something and from impending doom, and that because the Savior was born this day, that we need to all bow down and worship him as the Magi did, and I mean, I just don't think that we are needing to give ourselves away and our power and our sovereignty to any deity, whatever they claim themselves to be, whether it be the Savior of the world or not.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
So let's see here. Where was the last thing?
She said 14 is still a child for Mary.
Jim Unsure says, there is joy in remembering love. Know it.
It is not gone.
Yes.
Yeah. Cutting the cords of the prison called beliefs opens our minds.
Exactly. They get us every time with that, whether, they want to enslave us, whether they enslave us with a family, whether they enslave us with beliefs, whether they enslave us with whatever it is, as long as we are committed and enslaved to something, and that keeps us away from growing and evolving as a spirit being, because we're putting precedent to everything else besides that spiritual growth.
And that whole concept of this romanticized, beautiful story. I mean, I've been to Bethlehem. I've been in the cave where they said that, you know, they could have had Jesus born in and stuff. And it was so humble, and this was that and the other, and the angels and all that. And it's like, you know, this is all just a way to just get us to just like, it's like a wonderful romantic movie where we fall in love with the character.
Of course.
And, you know, at the end, they like, maybe something tragic happens, like in terms of endearment, or, you know, or on Golden Pond or something, and you're just left heartbroken. And it's like your heart has been given away to this sense and this feeling and stuff. And all for what?
Yeah, exactly.
All for what?
So Renee says, we crack the manosphere around Earth by raising the frequency of love. Kindness and love to everything and everyone will beat all evil. Exactly. Because the frequency of love is a higher frequency, and it surpasses everything else. And it protects us. I mean, when you're feeling fear or worried about something happening to you, if you just embrace this glowing, beautiful light that is surrounding you and it's protecting you, nothing can hurt you. Because that's what love is. It's this beautiful, glowing white light that just surrounds you and protects you and nurtures you. You know, it's, again, and there's no words.
Girl with no name spooner said, oh wait, Renee says love is the highest frequency.
It is, yes.
Girl with no name spooner says, we humans have a tendency to want to think of it in a physical aspect instead of a spiritual one.
Exactly, because we want to relate everything with our senses and this body.
And that's how dumbed down we've been made, to think that this is us,
right,
and this is not us. This is, we are like living in this simulation,
right,
like this created, you know, three-dimensional hologram that we have been placed in.
right.
But our true spirit, which is our, you know, the angel self that we were reading about earlier today, that is guiding us, and is our higher self, that is giving us direction and helping us. Like, okay, for instance, like when I fell down off that mountain and my car rolled 15 times almost 4 years ago to the day, and I found myself at the end of a very dangerous situation, you know, thinking that I died or something. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, what am I going to do now? I mean, what just happened? You know, am I, okay, I'm alive. But then I remember it was like my higher self speaking to me and saying, it's okay. You can rest now. Now you can just rest, and help will be on its way.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay. So then I just peacefully fell asleep, broken neck and all, pain and all, and just fell asleep. And I knew that somebody was going to come rescue me that next morning. It was like, it wasn't a doubt in my mind.
Because your higher self speaks.
That's what I knew.
That's why I say we can't take this third dimension literally and seriously. All the festivities, all the things that are given to us to stimulate our senses, to keep us here. You know, when we feed into that system, we're feeding into our own enslavement. You know, when we give that such priority over the spiritual growth that we're here to do, over the connections that we're meant to have with one another, so that that vibration of all of us together is what's going to allow us to leave this place. No man left behind, no woman or man left behind. We have to wake every single person up so we can get out of here. So
a girl with no name spooner says, dying to yourself is the hardest thing I'm trying to do ever in my life.
So are we hoping it will dance in the plaza in front of, you know, what is it?
Uninitiated
children. Did Derek find out what that means? Not sure. Okay, so this place isn't real compared to where we are really from. Exactly. This is like an illusion. You know, it's like atoms floating together, bumping to each other, that creates this illusion of matter. Okay, but that's not where we're from. You know, the matter is something that just really slows us down. It just like weighs us down.
And Damien says, group hug.
Yes, group hug.
Big group hug.
Yes.
Tracy says, we can admire Christ, but to become like him in all ways is the best way to honor his life.
Exactly, exactly. You two will do greater things than I. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Totally.
Hannah says, I have to pop off for a bit. My little dog is not well. If I don't get back before you both finish their live show, I'll say goodnight. Just now, just in case. So much love to you both. And much
love you, Hannah. I hope everything is fine.
Love.
Little baby. Anything else here?
Whoops. Yeah. The Christ within us is the way, the truth, and the life.
Yes. Yes.
It's the freaking ego.
I know, but you know, that ego had served a purpose. Because when we were down and out and we went through some terrible trauma, the ego was born to keep us sane, to keep us, you know, alive in a sense. But it served its purpose. We don't need it anymore. It needed to just send the ego away, packing, saying thank you, but time to go now. You know, we need to like really be real with ourselves, be real with one another, you know? And girl with the spoon says, you are never alone. Oh.
Tracy says, yes, Mark, when the awake reach critical mass in the collective consciousness, we break the illusion.
Exactly.
Crystal Light said, that's incredible. That's similar to what happened to me. I died, and afterwards I had an overwhelming feeling of knowing certain things. I was given answers to life's questions and knew it was Father. I mean, for me, I don't know if I died that night or not. I mean, I may have. I have no idea. But, you know, who rests after having such traumatic injuries? You know, I mean, I was in pain. You know, usually you can't rest and sleep. But I did sleep or whatever and woke up knowing that I was going to be safe. So girl with no name
because I was going to get
people, and hugs and more hugs.
For people to call in. Where's the phone?
It's over here.
Okay. So I got a few questions, and those of you that either want to write the questions down or call in, because I want this to be interactive. We have read of these. Phoenix says, that's the awakening. It's hard to let go of the self to make room for the new self, clean of all evil. And I like to believe that there's no such thing as evil and good. Just get rid of excess baggage that's not needed so that we could float away. You know, like those hot air balloons that have all these big sandbags. And if you want that hot air balloon to take off, you got to like kind of like get rid of that excess weight so it could elevate itself. So, you know, I think that we've gathered throughout our many lifetimes a lot of baggage and things that we need to rid ourselves of that may have served a purpose during a part of our lives, but it's time to send it packing, you know, send it away. And she said,
not many of us embody true evil. Mainly it's mistakes we regret.
Right, and that's how we learn. You know, when you're a little baby and you learn how to crawl and you get into things, if your parents haven't childproofed the house, you know, you're not evil because you go and grab, you know, something that your mom doesn't want you to grab because it's a pretty that if you grab it and go bang, bang, like kids do, it's going to break. It's just, that's what we do. Trial and error. We're learning, we're experimenting, we're exploring as kids that we are, because even though you're 50, 60 years old, your spirit's still childlike. That's why we have to return to that childlike nature. And Crystal Light says, you probably left your body and went to another realm. Seems more like them. Most likely that's what happened. I truly believe, you know, that's what took place. Okay, so question time. What does Christ mean to you? We hear these words all the time, Jesus, Christ. What does Christ mean to you?
And if you want to call in.
And if you want to call in with your answer.
We'll put up our phone number here.
Yes. And remember that if you're getting ready to call, tell us you're calling, because we're trying to keep those weird trolls away from. So I guess I'll start with what does Christ mean to me? I remember as a little kid, you know, I would do like little clay figures and things like that. And I remember I made a Christ. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and my grandmother introduced me to Christ. And to me, it seemed like Christ to me seemed like an angel, like some spirit that was there to help me evolve, to help me grow spiritually. You know, I never thought of Christ as a God, or, you know, it's just like some very important avatar that was there to help me evolve as a spirit being.
Yeah. Stephanie says that Christ means to her the anointed ones, aka us.
Yes. Yes. And there's no wrong answers. I mean, we all have, obviously, you know, and we each have our own experience, our own, what we think things are. And it's beautiful to come together as a family and share this. No one's wrong. No one's right. It's your own interpretation. It's like, if I showed you a piece of art, every single one of you would probably tell me something different than what you see in that art, what that art makes you feel.
Phoenix I Am said, what does the Bible say? You are of your father, the devil. Isn't that what Jesus said?
Yes. Well, he was trying to tell the Pharisees that their God that they were serving, that's why he was trying to get rid of all the false religion beliefs, because they are serving the devil, the Lord.
But, you know, also the fact is that the Pharisees of that time were more political than anything else, and they just were playing a power game, you know, in that time with the Jewish people, and they had interests to protect. Right. You know, they had their vested, you know, investments and things, and you know, they had to have their system running, the machine, you know, sort of like what the church is today. The church has to run. Church has to keep the machine oiled, you know, in order to.
But I believe he was talking the fact that who the Pharisees and who they were worshiping at the time was the God of the Bible, which was, in my opinion, the dark force. So Girl with No Name says, Christ, it's me and you. It's the life source from source. Yes. It's almost like source got inside this man named Jesus and made him aware of who source was, so that we could all connect to source, because we were being led in the wrong path, you know?
Hey, DB, how are you?
How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yes, we love you.
Back from Navajo.
Yes.
Gift exchange. It looks so cool, you guys. I'm sure you have some incredible footage.
Yes, I'm sure.
That's so amazing. All that stuff they were able to get.
I know. And I know, brother, that like me, shopping. Yeah, giving is nice. It's just the going to get the stuff to give that's the torture, you know.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But thank you for joining us.
Yes, absolutely.
So what? I've died 3 times. The first time, I died. The first time changed my perception of the world.
That's what
it would do that. Yeah.
It's the fire of our essence.
Yes, it's that fire of our essence. Totally. Phoenix says, Bible says there is not one righteous, so we are all evil.
No. That's the rat bastard talking.
Yeah, that's the devil. That's the devil who's duped people to believe that it's the God, and it's not. That's not Prime Creator. Prime Creator would never say that.
Absolutely not.
And that's what we need to totally erase that.
Because that whole
because that's damaging. That's just so damaging. You know, we are not evil. On the contrary, we are love. We are light. You know, we are amazing souls that have been duped and lied to. And now we have to just, you know, it's like you need to take a shower and get rid of all this ugliness that has been, you know, it's like when somebody molests you and you feel raped and you feel like violated and you have to go in the shower to get rid of all that. That's what we got to do. We got to clean all that off, because we have been molested spiritually. We have been lied to. We have been dirtied. We're not evil. We are pure love and light, you know?
Derek said, I hate shopping with robots.
I hear you. It's
you used to work at Walmart. It looked like that's where it was.
Yeah.
So
terrible place.
Walmart in that artificial,
that light, that humming, and it's crazy stuff. Totally.
So love, yes, I love it to see love.
Yes. That's right.
To think we are
evil.
And
we're not evil at all. We've got to like completely erase that from our consciousness, from our thinking, from even our lips. Only positive words and positive things should come out.
We are divine, sovereign beings of light, and we do not need to accept anything less than our own divinity and our own right to be loving beings of light. People spirits that choose to create by loving one another. You know, that's our creative force.
Yes. Love and light. All gotta go celebrate with my children. Hugs and kisses. Happy holiday. Thank you, girl with no name, Spooner.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And Derek says, everything in the Bible is allegory about the spiritual escape from this place. Right on. That's exactly it. And that's what we've been talking about on the show, that it's time for us to break free. We're getting little pieces of the map, putting that map together so we can find our escape.
Even the ascension concept of like, you know, somehow like this new age modern version of a rapture scenario happening is more of a like
another cage,
another thing to keep us enslaved.
Yeah, because you know we just need to like totally go into that. Was it the Black Void that we read today?
Yeah, we come from the dark matter.
Yeah.
You know, that is the spiritual universe. Yeah. And we do not need to accept the ownership of any deity or any presence that would say, you need to follow me. Right. No, you know within yourself. Right. It's like, no one needs to explain to me how to love. Right. You know, I mean, we know how to do that. You know?
Exactly. Nothing New Age about it. Exactly. Because it's Gnostic teachings, you know. And Damien says, hi, Janet, big hugs. Another confirmation. Yes. So next question. When you were a child and you heard of Christ for the first time, how did it make you feel?
Yes, the kingdom is
within. Totally.
There are universes within here.
Yes.
You know, I mean, everything that we're like seeing in this present reality is like a projection, you know, of something that isn't even real.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we're like existing in this alternative space that we've been thrown into.
Exactly. So when you were a child and you heard of Christ, what was the first time? Heard for Christ for the first time, how did it make you feel? I started feeling all sorts of guilt because they're like, he died for you and he did this. I'm like,
well, it's like this whole concept. Well, we love because he first loved us. It's like, it's always like, since someone did something for us, then we have to do something back.
It's like a debt system.
It's like we owe that person. Yeah. And it's not like emanating from within us. It's like, you know, I love you not because of what you do for me, but because I sincerely love you.
Exactly.
You know, there's no like conditions or any reciprocity that's demanded from you. Exactly. I just love you because I do. Yeah. It's a being, you know, and it's like, you know, these religious systems that make everybody a debtor. You know, it's just.
And that's how they keep us here. And that's how they continue the vicious cycle, you know, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. The time to escape the prison planet is now. We're going to find a way as a family to get out.
And as a child, Stephanie says, I always knew that God wasn't what I was taught. Mm-hmm. As a child, questions from day one.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like parents will tell you, oh, don't ask that question. Oh, no, we shouldn't doubt. We shouldn't, you know, like what would you do when
Thank you, Derek. He said he posted this video on his community. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. No soul left behind. That's right. This is a rescue mission. It's time for us to get out, but we need to bring everyone with us. No man left behind, no woman left behind, a rescue mission. And we will do this.
And that's every single human being alive. You know, no one stays behind. We all go, you know, we all go together. Tracy says, I'm driving down the historic Christmas tree lane in Fresno, California, with my sweet, precious Linda, who sees beyond this matrix. But yes, indeed, the lights are very captivating while listening to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. Thanks for keeping us on.
Yes. So, okay, so what, So, I mean, I know I felt guilt when I was,
I was fearful. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember when I first heard of my need for a savior, and
I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. Why do I need to be saved? I mean, it's like you inherited this awful debt from your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents that you had nothing to do with, and now you're forced to pay this debt, and you're constantly being told for the rest of your life. I mean,
how bad you are.
How does that ring right in any one of us? It's crazy.
So there's this omniscient, loving being that has our best interests at heart and has a plan for us to be rescued from destruction, but we have to do what he says, or else. Yeah. But I love you, like George Carlin.
Exactly.
But he loves you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, that whole concept of feeling that guilt, I remember in kindergarten, there was a story that my kindergarten teacher was telling about Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. And I remember how she was like, and he took the penalty that we deserved. And so in the middle of that, she had something that she had to attend to outside the classroom. So there was this little boy that yelled really loud, right? Mm-hmm. And I walked out, I was in the classroom with him and everybody else. Teacher came back in and was like, who yelled? And the little boy didn't want to take responsibility. But I thought that I could maybe demonstrate that. And I was like, it was me, I raised my hand. And then she's like, to the principal's office with you. And back then, they used the paddle.
Ooh.
They used the paddle. And I was like, maybe this wasn't such a great idea.
Taught you real quick.
Yeah. Learned it.
Stephanie, that's 100% my own words. I say and feel the exact same way. It's pretty incredible seeing that connection made.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Phoenix, we had our own God, and the book and your God was brought here. It does not match. So keep teaching me your book. Just do not get it. We don't get it from a book, Phoenix.
Yeah.
There are so many other books out there other than the Word of God, the 66 books. I mean, we don't think that they're sacred and exclusive.
Imagine how many books have been burned, lost in the flood, and all these things with fires. If we don't learn and have that direct connection with our higher self that speaks to us, we can't expect to get anything from a book. Because a book, I mean, sometimes with the translations, they have to take pieces of things and try to, that looks like that might be a T, or is that enough? Oh, what does that say? We can't really go by any of that.
Yeah, and do you think about it? The authorized version of the Bible that everybody knows as the King James Version is a manuscript that is a translation of old writings from these people who were their own, the English government. The British government gave the people the English Bible. It's it was a government thing, and it's how are you ever supposed to trust anything that comes from the government?
No, I know. Those guys just stuff. So Renee said, I also died in 2009, spent 40 days in ICU. I too have downloads now, and just knowing, I think when you step into that other realm, you it removes a lot of the forgetfulness, and you remember more. Because it's almost like being cleansed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Children can see and clearly recognize that what makes no logical sense and is contradictory. And, when I was a child, I remember before I got tainted with religion, that I used to talk to God or whatever in my room, have conversations, and then, my parents, my mom would walk in and she'd be like, who are you talking to? I'm just I'm talking to God, or whatever. And it's there's this awareness that we have as children that we lose. It's we lose the connection with the spiritual realm that we are a part of. Maybe, it's on purpose, it's done to incrementally wean us off of the reality of our existence, you know. But as a child,
I like to think that I would speak
aware
to my higher self, because I think we're all appointed a higher self, an angel, or us in a more advanced dimension. And that's who we communicate, you know, with, because we all each have our own, you know, little guardian angel or higher self. And I think that's what, as children, we speak to. I mean, I would have full conversations without all that gaudy and this, that, and the, you know, our Father who art in heaven, all the stuff that we're taught. We used to just talk directly to our higher selves. And then as we got older, it's like, okay, I can't talk to myself anymore because it's not cool.
And honestly, it's like, I didn't feel like I was like, you know, I don't know. It just felt like, it felt so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so like unfiltered, you know. It didn't feel like, you know, like you said, Psalm 23, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed. What's hallowed? What does that mean?
I don't know.
You know, like
thy kingdom.
It's like, who uses that word? You know, so it was like so like, it was almost like we were disconnected from the reality.
Thank you, Damien.
Sovereignty.
Damien Sutherland, hit the like button. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
if you
remember,
haven't subscribed, please
subscribe. Yes.
So we got licks. Licks. Oh, is that like from getting paddled?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Derek and Malia. Great work bringing all the gifts to the Navajo. Love you both.
Yes.
Yes, if Malia's here, we love you too, Malia. We didn't see you, but I'm sure you're there.
Our pipe,
our mother, she walks with us. I think there is something to the divine feminine.
Oh, of course.
You know, I mean, that's been masqueraded.
I think also there's, okay, let's see how I put this. You know how you get the yin and the yang, and because spirits are genderless. Spirits don't have any gender. It's just like, I think it's like a combination of both male and female energy in one. And it's not something that is even talked about in the spirit realm. You just are. It's in this dimension that we make such big deals about colors and genders and this and that and the other, because in this dimension we have to like name everything. Everything has a word. Everything has a this. And truly in the spirit realm, we're genderless.
But I think beyond gender, what I'm talking about with the divine feminine is that aspect of divinity that we all have within us,
right,
that expresses itself not in that masculine sense. You know, it's the more nurturing, it's the more wisdom. You know, it's like we don't really talk about the divine masculine as we do talk about the divine feminine, which is where, you know, I mean, if anything's going to be created out of anything, it's going to come from that divine feminine essence that is a part of this universe. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, females have been suppressed from being able to express their connection.
Yeah, on this realm, because on this realm, everything is so upside down. But I think when we leave this realm, there is no divine feminine. I think when we leave this realm, we're all divine.
But I'm not talking about feminine in the sense of gender. I'm talking about feminine.
I hear you. I hear you. But I think once we leave here, I don't know. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but, you know.
I connect with Swedenborg's books. It's been great in helping me put
there's a church here
puzzle together.
Right across, right in where the RV park is. It's Swedenborg. That's who they follow. I went to a couple of their.
The answer is always within you, says Fana. Everything.
Yes, everything.
Waiting for you.
Exactly. It's all in there. I have a book, an ebook that I wrote. The answers are within you, plugging in, you know, and I wrote that years ago. I was in like the beginning of my spiritual awakening. And it's like, it's all in there. I mean, they put everything from guilt, fear, to all this stuff to get you to not go inside of you. Heck, religious dogma says your heart is wicked. How can your heart be wicked?
The heart is deceptively.
How can that be?
Wicked.
You know, it's like, you know, you tell me that a little baby that's born has a wicked heart? No, the world that we live in makes us believe that, and then we think that, and then we make it happen because we manifest.
I remember a friend that I used to work with. He's a dad of like 3 kids, and he's like, you know, I need to tame my little devils. I'm like, devils?
That's pretty sad.
My little devils? It's like, yeah, because if I don't teach them right or wrong, they're gonna do the wrong thing all the time. And it's like, gosh, so that's thinking that your child is innately evil, you know.
And then
and
that thought process will create them to be evil because we're so powerful. We have to be so ever careful what we think about because we will create that reality.
Yeah, what we intend to create in our minds and we bring to fruition, you know, can be very creatively powerful and beneficial or very destructive, you know. I mean, there's you know, I mean, it's just, that's who we are. We're creators.
So I have another question. Okay, go ahead.
Phoenix says, we have no books. We were told not to write it down.
Exactly. And I think that when you write something down, it loses its essence. You know, things are here in your heart, and it's brought down from generation to generation by, you know, telling it to your kids, and your kids tells your kids, you know, because books could get burned and destroyed and altered, you know. It's, you know,
the crazy thing that's happening now is with everything being digitized.
Oh, I know.
Is that if we lose all those digital,
but that's being done on purpose.
You know, it's like when I was growing up,
you know,
everybody had a whole shoebox full of pictures and photographs and photo albums. And now,
do you know why that's being done? Because of this new singularity, this transhumanism. They don't want any remembrance of what happened in the past. It's going to be like it's always been transhumanism. And that's why they're doing that. So we have got to be very careful. Crystallize says, Derek, you've been another huge piece to this puzzle.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure everybody would attest to that.
Definitely.
Renee says, I did too. Hi, Derek. Much love. Thank you, Mark and Lynna. Sorry I got a phone call and missed the end. Joyful to have spent time with you all.
Thank you, Gemma.
Thank you, Jim Church.
And she says that maybe we can do a show together near the near-death experience. That'd be
love to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
we'll put that.
Love to. Just send us an email to Transition Radio Show.
Yeah, and then, or they could, if they want to talk about it and be a guest, we could do that. Or we could just have people call in and share their experiences, you know.
Yeah, that too.
That'll be a great show.
That too, but she said At Home has a very specific story.
Yes, so you can be our guest.
Yeah.
We could, and then if other people want to call in while you're a guest, that'll be great too.
Yes, thank you, Derek. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, right there.
Where is it?
Keep going. No, it's too far. Is it?
Yeah. Thank you, Derek. Your words reconfirmed my knowing. So great to see all here that are awake now.
Yes. That's great idea, she said. It is. Hallowed, clean, true, righteous. Hallowed be thy name. Yeah.
Hallowed, clean, true, righteous.
Okay, that's what that means.
Hallowed.
Hallowed.
Exactly. Derek. Malia is here. She says, love you. Yes.
Back. All right, so.
Good word. Everybody saying hi to Malia. We all love Malia.
Yes.
Hello, Malia. Can't wait for Red Letter Disciples to start.
Yes,
we've been looking. We love that. Feeling big hugs again.
Yes.
Oh, big hugs.
Big hugs.
And the kingdom come in you. That is what Christ said the kingdom is. The feminine is the spirit of the true Father. You know, so that there's a lot there.
Yeah,
you know?
that is.
Christ said the kingdom is within you, and the feminine is the spirit of the true Father. Feels creativity versus action. We all need to embrace both.
Yes, totally.
Truly inspiring prayer. Thanks, Derek. The kingdom is within.
But will.
Always been able to remove from mind. Manifest in the physical if you allow it to grow.
Exactly.
I see the hearts of these two humans. Hugh, light, man.
Yep.
It's good.
When we write it down, it is distorted and interpreted by broken men. Exactly.
And they can turn it into whatever they want it to mean. You know, they could take one scripture and, you know, they could take one scripture, think about it, in Leviticus and demonize a whole group of people that have an alternative sexual preference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but they ignore the other 76 different commandments that were given in that same book. It's crazy. So we are light man.
Yes.
Light man. All right. So
totally. Okay, so when was the first time you learned Santa was not real?
Oh man. That was a bummer.
Wasn't it a bummer? It's like,
that
was a
bummer.
It was, but there's an allegory to that, It's
really blew my bubble.
I had a mentally retarded uncle. He's dead, and so is my grandmother. But my parents, I wanted a bicycle that year, and my parents put the bicycle in my grandma's house in the closet. And I don't know what I was looking in the closet, but my retarded uncle used to have this bad habit of breaking and opening things. So I'm seeing this box, and I see this tire. I'm like, oh man, that's my bike.
Oh no.
And I'm like, if my bike is here, then that means Santa. And I just, I asked my mom, I was like, no, well, Santa didn't have room to put the bike in his workshop. So I'm like, I knew right away. Yeah. That was like so like heartbreaking.
Well, when I was growing up, we had a gift, kind of spoiled, I'll admit. We had a gift from mom and dad, and then the gift from Santa didn't come until the night of the 24th.
Okay.
Right? So it didn't show up until that time. So for a good long time, I believed in Santa, But then one night, I decided, I think I was 10, I decided I'd just stay up all night to wait for him, Because, people leave cookies and milk and cookies and stuff for him, and he's supposed to show up. And I was bummed he didn't show up. But who did show up was my mom.
Who put the stuff under the tree. Yeah, it's, yeah. So let's see, 4 years old is when you found out?
Oh, wow. It
Hello,
didn't last long. BK says I was old.
Yeah, I was like 8 years old. 8 years old, and that was just like such a bummer for me. It's like there went the end of your innocence.
It was sad.
Gone.
It was a sad moment. Couldn't believe my parents had that kind of money for gifts. Junior high school. That's when EK found out.
And I'm sure like when you had to make the list and you kept going, and the parent, remember, Santa has to get gifts for other kids. That's what I was always told. It's like you're only allowed to ask for X amount.
And this whole he remembers if you've been naughty or nice.
I know. What does that remind you of? That's there's just like I don't know.
Jesus correlation.
I don't know. Something.
When that was the only time of the year I'd see my mom. Being
I love Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
Who's Roger Miller?
Isn't he like a big band musician? Damien, I was really little, about 6 or 7, and I didn't believe in Santa. And instead of mom and dad telling me he's not true, they made an elaborate scam to give me a letter that was.
So they're trying to convince you, and you didn't believe in them. I gotta tell you, yeah.
The whole thing with Santa is a pretty new concept, because it was during the 30s, 40s when the movie Miracle on 34th Street came out, that this whole concept of Santa Claus even became a thing in America, and it was a way, and they were telling you what they were doing. It was a way to market,
of course,
themselves, and to get people to buy things and stuff, and to get more money into these corporations.
Religion, a way to market themselves, to get more parishioners, to make more money, to build a business. Because, they don't want you to know that the Christ is within you. They don't want you to know that you have the ability. You don't need to go to a church. You don't need to confess your sins, but they make you believe that you do. And it's like, so when we find out, when we create an awakening and we remove our veils, at first it's kind of like, oh man,
yeah,
that's a bummer. You mean, wow.
Well, Santa wasn't my big hang up. My big hang up was what happened to Frosty.
Oh.
in that what was it, in the sun house or
That
sun
he
room?
melted?
Yes.
Oh boy.
That was so sad.
It was.
I mean, it was like devastating, you know.
So Phoenix says it's all symbolism. Yep, totally. And EK said, my English teacher told us in junior high school. Damn, teachers.
I know.
Not supposed to do that.
Otome Warrior says, I was in the 6th grade and on the fence. LOL. I accidentally walked into a conversation with my mom and sister talking about how mother stuffed the stockings.
I remember one year we were outside and it's like, it felt so magical. So my father goes, oh, look, the sleigh and the reindeers. And I could have sworn I kind of saw it, just caught the end of it.
Wait. In Florida?
Yeah, I know.
How do you even, I know.
Yeah.
I can't talk.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Southern California.
Yeah, but no, I still, you still believe that Santa Claus, and we just didn't go through. Oh, my question was, well, we don't have a chimney. How is he going to get in? Oh,
yeah,
it gets really little and, and all that stuff. I mean, they make up all sorts of lies.
We would go to a place up in the mountains. It was called Santa's Village. And that's where Santa lived.
Oh, okay.
That's where the reindeer were.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So my dad set traps for my brother and I within hours on the pots and pans. I knew Saturn wouldn't be doing that. Give yourselves away, Dad, after all those years.
I'm sure that was a wonderful memory, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Singer.
My daughter busting me putting the Santa gifts under the tree. Oh, yeah.
That's got to be so stressful. I mean, I've never had the pleasure of having kids. I'm not a parent. But I can imagine how stressful that is to make sure that your kid goes to sleep, make sure that you have to because I mean, my parents went through the whole putting the stuff and having, and it's like, I would always try to see if I heard Santa coming in, and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, there's nothing like the joyful expectancy that the kids had in Christmas Eve. They were all excited and stuff, and then on Christmas Day, when everybody woke up and they were just all excited.
Preparing us.
Just so, and then everything would be opened up and there'd be just a whole clutter of paper everywhere.
That preparing us for consumerism in the material world from the time we're little?
I don't know, but it's like that whole thing that as parents, we love to give gifts to our children, and it brings us so much joy to do that. And it was just a beautiful experience to be able to do that.
So let's see, yes, but where did it come from?
Roger Miller saying there was an old lady who swallowed a fly. Okay. Not Big Band musician, he was a folk singer.
Oh, okay. He drank all my dad's beer, stuffed up the lawn
stuffed up the lawn
with reindeers. He touched our socks and sockling underwear. Yeah, don't come to my place, Santa.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sad, says EK.
I described my job when I was a retail manager for Target. I help people buy things they don't need with money they don't have.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like we're teaching people from the time they're young that it's okay to rack up their credit card so they could get that special feeling. It's like, again,
Tracy says, Mark.
Okay, Mark, seriously, it was a lot to manage. It started getting old after a few years. I hear you. So we need to free ourselves from all that stuff.
My dad was a big bah humbug. He didn't want us to have a Christmas tree in the house. I mean, I remember my sister and I bought one at Montgomery Ward's one Christmas, and he was like, what is that smell? It's like, it's pine. Ugh, get it out of here. And we literally had to fight to keep the tree in the house. It was like, come on, Dad, just one time, have a Christmas tree.
Okay, Easter was stupid. Easter Bunny. I know all this stuff. Everything that is made to imprison humanity, to make them addicted to something is part of what's keeping us here.
Crystal Light says, yeah, it's technically so wrong. The lies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're telling your child a lie.
Yeah.
I remind myself that I love my parents for those lies so I can forgive myself with my own children, LOL.
Yeah.
And you know what I used to do with my kids is, we didn't celebrate as much Santa, right? Because it was a Christian home. So we were talking about, Jesus and reading the nativity story and all that. And it's like, Well, there's another lie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we perpetuate.
Well, we teach each other to lie. We teach each other to be addicts, you know, whether we're addicted to food, material things, so we can get that special feeling inside. And as long as we continue to look for that special feelings, we're going to keep stuck on this prison planet.
Phoenix says, I told my kids Santa is in your hearts.
That's right.
She said, was told a baby was on the way and realized dad was Santa.
And Tracy says, especially as the mother, whether you're sick or not, you have to do it at all, or at least I did.
Wow. Yeah, that's so much pressure.
So much pressure, you know, it's like
so much pressure.
And then kids don't even really appreciate it, you know?
Not as much these days.
No, they don't. It's like, you know, the more parents give, the more they expect. And we have to realize that whole cycle of life that we have been taught, you know, from generation to generation, even though we think it's good because we look at things as harmless, there's a lot of harm that has been done through generation to generation. It's time for people to remove that veil and, you know, free ourselves. And that's what we're talking about. Hey, Malia.
Malia, my warmest Christmas memories were getting together with cousins and playing flag football at our grandparents' farm. I cannot remember one gift I received, only the warmth of being together.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of that.
Exactly.
You know?
But we as human beings, we need to do that all the time.
We need to do that more than just once.
All the time, because family is precious, and we don't know when we're going to lose a loved one. And so that whole feeling of being with your family shouldn't just be held or told by this giving this and was it Valentine's Day? You give this thing on Valentine's Day. That's all part of the commercialization, you know. And I think that's the matrix, and that is what's keeping us here on this prison planet.
Yeah,
we need to free ourselves totally,
and to share those moments with our family
all the time.
Not just like once every year.
It's like we're being told, okay, now slaves, we'll give you this day so you could celebrate, but you know,
once it's over,
and you know you racked up your credit card, so you got to work twice as hard now.
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy stuff.
Soul's-Eye Jewel says,
no wonder you two didn't know Frosty was real. Florida, I know, right?
We're from the islands originally, so it's like
I'm from Cuba, so I imagine, First time I saw snow, I was like, wow. It was like
my mom literally, like when she left Puerto Rico for New York, she thought there was a volcano erupting. Literally, she thought it was a volcano.
The world's coming to an end.
White stuff. It's like, what's a volcano? What is it?
So have you heard? Let's see. So have you? Phoenix says, have you heard the myth of the rabbits and the moon? The face is said to be rabbits dancing. Easter run rabbits. Yeah, if you look at the moon, that's what it looks like, a rabbit.
Like,
you haven't paid attention? Yeah, it looks kind of like a rabbit. I've seen a rabbit.
I wish I knew, Damien says, I knew it was mom and dad giving gifts, and I would have had more love and respect for them giving instead of something I didn't know.
I know, because you're like, oh, Santa's loaded. He's able to get all sorts of stuff, you know, and then you're just kind of like.
I figure it out, though. It's like, how does Santa, he's just one man, and his elves get around the world?
Right. So that's when I say, how can God hear all our prayers? That's why I think we have a higher self appointed to us that kind of like, okay, walks you through life, talks to you, you talk to him, and if he needs to relate something to the big man, then, you know, something like that. So
yeah, Tracy says, that's cool, Malia.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those wonderful, wonderful moments.
Yeah.
I had a boyfriend that the family did the football every year, family of 10 kids.
That's a football team right there.
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
EK says, tooth fairies do it was done harmlessly. Oh, I remember. My grandma used to love to pull my teeth. When I had anything loose and she'd go and feel it. And I was like, oh my God. But then I thought, okay, so I'll get some money. I mean, even from the time we're little, we're taught about if we exchange this thing and we're going to get some money for it. I mean, it's so ingrained in us.
They didn't know anything. My family drank and partied at LOL.
So did mine. We did the big pork and all the alcohol, and everybody got all drunk. And
my mother was brought to our house Christmas morning by ambulance to watch us open our gifts, and then they took her back to the hospital. Oh man. Yeah. That's why you have to teach your kids the best you can. But I agree, we should free ourselves. It's a struggle when there isn't clear right or wrong. You just want the best for your baby.
Right. But, you know, we have to realize that the material things is not the best, because, you know, the kids that are the happiest and the kids that have great morals are the kids that are in these third world countries that don't have anything. They're so grateful for a little thing. Kids in the United States, bratty.
Not so much.
Yeah, they're bratty. They're so spoiled. And it's like this whole new way of living. You know, because this is what, 50 years prior to that? I mean, it wasn't that way.
Right.
This generation now, it's like,
it's like this, like, give it to me. I need it now. You know, you
instant.
need to bring it.
Instant. Yeah.
I mean, Amazon even has a service now that not only delivers something within 2 days, but within hours of ordering it. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. It's like it feeds your fetish.
Yeah. You know? And as long as we continue that cycle, we are not getting out of here, you know?
Crystal Light, I moved from Cape Coral, Florida to London, Ohio when I was 10. And I hadn't seen snow before then. I'm sure you saw plenty of snow in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I lived in Minnesota for like almost 10 years. And prior to that, snow was like a special event when I lived in Nashville, and a non-event in California.
Oh, sure.
But in Minnesota, it was like around Halloween, the driveway got thinner and thinner and thinner because, you know, you can only ice chip the driveway so long before you can't even get to the driveway anymore because you've got like all this snow.
Mounds of snow.
I mean,
actually, in 1970 something, we had this really bad cold front in Florida, and we had a little frost. That was such a big deal. Oh my God, we're like, oh my God, it's snowing in Florida. The world's gonna come to an end.
I know, we had snow on the beach in California one year. Weird. It was like, oh my gosh, no way. You know, what's going on? So, Tracy, you're in Minnesota? Where? I used to live in Eagan, Minnesota, and then in Princeton. But yeah, it's a beautiful place at Christmas time. They do the decorations really nicely. Merry Christmas, everyone. Mark, Lynna, Malia, Derek, and Love family. I appreciate you all.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's see, I always gave away my presents.
Oh, that's beautiful. Flag football is awesome.
Yes.
Flag football isn't so awesome when you turn the flags to like not be on the side, but so that it goes like this way, so the flags are hanging in front and behind. I'll just leave that to your imagination.
So whose bright idea was that one?
Mine. When I was a kid growing up and playing on the in school, and I found out really quickly. So
what was your favorite gift as a child? Mine was my first guitar. When I got my guitar, I was like, I could do something with this.
Your guitar
was one of my favorite gifts.
Wow. I don't know. I guess there was this remote control car. It was called the Firefox. And it was like this, you know, the commercial showed that it would go up and over on grass and it would do all kinds of cool things and stuff. And then my cousin came over. It was only a day after I had gotten it.
And he broke it.
He played with it.
And he broke it.
No, he left, and I don't know what happened to the remote control.
He took it.
And then he never brought it back. So then there was Firefox.
By itself, without the remote. He did that so you couldn't play. I'm from Chanhassen.
Chanhassen. Yes, okay. Cool. I actually used to also live close to Eden Prairie. Yeah, I used to.
So Phoenix, you got cross-country skis for Christmas. That was your favorite gift. Awesome. A little red radio.
Little red radio, nice. A pinball machine one time. I got that.
Yeah.
Like a not a really like real one, like you know, but a good one. It was good. It had the whole thing with the buttons and everything. And then one day, my cousin Danny came over.
Your cousins are bad.
And he took the metal ball
They do that so you can't. Oh my gosh!
He took the metal ball out of
I thought
it.
my cousins were terror. Yours are worse.
And then years later, like, and I'm talking like a decade or so later or more.
He brought it back.
No. He said, "Oh, by the way, I took the 5 metal balls from your pinball machine."
I got one of those little machines, Tachinkas that you would put and
clink, clink,
clink, clink, clink. Yeah, that was another favorite. But my guitar is that, led to me learning how to play and writing music. So,
yes, live in Ohio still, and I claim insanity. Yeah.
So EK says her parents went through depression, so I think they went overboard to give us more. Yeah, sometimes parents do that. When they want to overcompensate, or because that's what my dad did. My dad really, I guess, because he was poor in Cuba from El Campo, the country, and he didn't get much of anything. I think he said he only got one toy once, so he wanted us to have. Although he was a drunk and abused my mom, but when it came to like giving us stuff, he always did.
I received a spirograph. Remember those?
Oh, yes.
And colored pens. I had it for years. Loved it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those are such cool gifts. I mean, the Light Bright, the spirograph, all those, they're so innocent and fun. The Etch-a-Sketch.
Yes, I used to love. I had one of those too. Yeah. Isn't it wonderful to remember these memories? To because that's all we really have is memories that we create in our lifetimes. That's all we take with us. The love, the memories, it's, as a family, that's so important to do, to be able to share with one another.
One year for my birthday, I got Kappa sneakers. I don't know what those
What are those Kappa sneakers?
Kappa sneakers.
Are those the ones that light up or something? Or no? Back then, I don't think they had lighting sneakers.
No, this isn't a new thread. This is the same live chat. Gemma says, "Hey, this is a new thread, or am I having phone problems again?" I wore them out, whatever they were. Kappa sneakers.
You liked them, I gather. Yeah. I was given a doll a year from around the world for Christmas from a family friend.
The hardest part for me, Gemma Church says, is missing the nativities I collected all of my life. We always faced the animals to the child, even they adored. I got rid of them all. Wow. Yeah, it's like old habits, and it's like we're going to end the show later with the song that I enjoyed singing growing up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's a beautiful story. But, it doesn't mean as much to me as...
Well, it's kind of like Santa. That's why I brought up, when was the first time you learned that Santa wasn't real? But prior to that, it was like such a thing in our lives. We all have to evolve and grow, and we can't live based on our past, because all we really have is the now, this moment. Tomorrow may never get here. Yesterday's gone. So, is the now, and grateful for the now, and grateful for the knowledge that we are getting so that we could free ourselves, because this enslavement really sucks. If you really think about it.
As long as I can take you with me.
Yes.
Soul's Eye Jewel, my favorite gift was a BB gun. I never shot at anything that was living, though. I shot cans.
That's good. My cousins were a terror, and then when they had a BB gun, I was always worried that they were going to hurt me with the darn thing.
They usually would hurt each other.
Yeah.
Because there was always a dumb cousin.
I know.
Who would shoot the gun and hit somebody in the gut.
Or the ricochet, and it's like, oh my gosh. Law caught my dad assembling my table and chairs, age 6.
Oh, man. Wow. Maybe he just said, "Oh, was it? I'm helping Santa."
Yeah, there was always a lie.
Early.
Once it's like it's never the same. You're always questioning, and it's just like, it's never the same.
But that's the thing. We always, once we find out that this legend of Jesus isn't what we thought it was, then it takes us a little while to connect to the fact that maybe I need to readjust what.
Well, because old habits die hard. It's like when you first became a vegan, you still had that old habit of wanting it. It takes a while to evolve and grow into something new. and to understand it and really embody it. And then the old memories kind of like fade away, and you see that it doesn't serve you anymore, that you're ready for something different. And I think that's been part of the human history. Little by little, we have been evolving and growing because, you know, maybe we couldn't handle all that back in the day. We needed all that we went through to get to where we are today.
EK says, good night, everyone.
Good night, friend. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yes, have a wonderful evening.
Yes.
We got inchworms that year.
What's inchworms?
Inchworms, like, they're little stuff.
They're little games, and not an actual worm. I was gonna say. I thought they had.
Yes, I grieved that nativity story, but it's all good, and I'm so grown in Him.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, old habits die hard.
Yeah, but it's really part of, and that's why as a family, you know, we need to empower one another, and we need to hold each other up, and we need to tell each other, as I told Gordon in his ear, everything's going to be okay, because it is going to be okay. We're going to be more than okay. So Tracy says, until the global witness, I seriously was waiting for the trumpets and the Jesus to appear in the sky. I've come a long way in 1 year.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. We all are evolving, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
It is. And it's joyous. We shouldn't be sad. We shouldn't, you know, it's like we don't need the training wheels anymore.
No.
How awesome is that? You know?
I have to go, says Soul's Eye Jules. Wish you all happy Christmas Day.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of our night tonight.
That's what matters about every day, but Christmas is devastating to so many. I wish you all happiness and love. I love you all.
And we love you.
Yeah, I had a friend. I was when I was working in Minneapolis one day on Christmas, because, you know, if you work in TV, you don't get this day off.
Right.
So they were doing a basketball game, and my friend Phil, he got some bad news, and he went home immediately after the ball game, or right in the middle of it, and he found his girlfriend out on the floor, and she was not breathing.
She died.
So they called the ambulance and stuff, and they pronounced her, you know, and it was devastating for Phil the next year and the year after that.
Sure.
And, you know, there's so many people that deal with so much trauma during this time of the year because maybe they didn't have the childhood that I did, you know, or that you did. And they dealt with, you know, well, if Santa's real, why didn't I get a gift?
Exactly. And that's one of the things.
It's so sad.
It's very sad that, you know, these holidays are dependent on your social status, are depending on where you were born in the world, to whom you were born to. And, you know, the same thing goes with religion. You know, it's depending on, you know, it's just, these are things that divide us, and we don't need to be divided anymore. We don't need to live in this socioeconomic type of thing where one group of people have more than the other. We need to break free from these chains.
Yeah.
We need to realize who we are, our divinity, and that materialistic things do not define us. Because as long as we continue to define ourselves by our titles, by what we have in our bank, then we continue to be slaves, and we continue to be here. And the time for the grand escape is now.
And they will know that we are who we are by the love that we have one for another.
Exactly, because that is one thing they can't take away from us. They could strip us of our clothes. They could strip us of our roof over our head. They could strip us of everything, naked, whip us, but they can't take away our love, our true essence.
So, let's see. Love you all. I'm of as well. Thank you. Soul's Eye, my favorite Christmas song is "You Can't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd."
Never heard of that one. You can't be happy if you're mind to it. Roger Miller again.
We got to hear Roger Miller.
Yeah.
After
the show.
After the show. You know, we listened to Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yes, today. I was like,
we were trying to change the channel. It's like, I don't think you can hear that song one time and not be like annoyed. But
I know that's very annoying. I never liked that song. I know. Yes, that one is good. And then Gemma says, see, Derek, we grew. Thanks for having us do our own work here. It is now our truth too. Yes, totally. And Tracy says, I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Tracy.
Enjoy.
So we don't want to keep people much longer. So we're going to do a manifestation moment. Instead of calling it prayer, we're going to manifest, because there's power in all of us. And we're going to manifest things for each other, manifest the changes in the world that we need. You know, we're going to manifest for all the broken people that are gathered in the world tonight, those in pain, those are suffering, those with non-functioning brains from strokes, you know, those that have had heart attacks, those lost souls, confused and all alone. We're going to manifest wonderful things for everybody. Lack of love in their life, cutting yourselves up all inside because you feel like you're worthless. The time to rejoice in this greatness, in this love that we feel for one another tonight, in this Christmas Eve. We're going to do that. So if we all just kind of like put our hands up like this, and when we're doing this is because we know that we are divine. We know that we have been given such gifts that before we kind of like didn't understand, but now we do, because the veil have been removed completely. And we're aware and we are awake. So we're going to manifest all the wonderful things for our human family as we gather here tonight, each and every one of us. We are going to heal as one big family. No more pain, no more lies, no more guilt, no more fears. It's all about love that we emit to one another. And we promise from this day forward that we as a family are going to create wonderful things for one another. Yeah. And we promise each other that everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be okay. So let's all scream and say, yeah!
Yeah.
A little louder than that. Yeah! We are going to be fine, family.
Yeah.
We're going to make it through. This time, no person, man, woman, or child will be left behind. And so it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Different. But, you know, there are lots of people that need a lot of love.
Yes.
You know, and Lindsay just wrote, having a rough Christmas, Mike. We just experienced 3 deaths in the family in the last 6 months. One on Saturday. Me and my family are in need of peace and prayer. And we agree with you, and we hold your family.
Yes.
And we know that, you know, there is a love that just will enwrap them and you in this situation, and that you need to just rest in the fact that this is a good thing, that we can grow together, that we can give to each other, and that we can love and just be able to have that compassion. You know, I feel for you. I feel for what you're going through. No one likes to lose a loved one, and losing 3, it's very, very rough, very difficult. But, you know, I just want to assure you that it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right.
Yes,
you know,
we're evolving and growing, and I know we've been taught to fear death and to be sad when we lose someone, but this is one reality. There's other things out there waiting for us, and other cultures celebrate death because they know that this is just a stepping stone.
Like a graduation.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we lose someone,
it's hard. Of course it's hard because we've been conditioned to believe it. So, but know that we are sending you love and healing, and that we know that you're gonna feel this, and that's okay. Embrace it, cry, understand it, own it, and then when you're ready, you'll be able to let it go.
Yes. Yes.
So it is in Christ. I'm sorry, Leslie. May love comfort you. Yes, and we're sending you our healing love and thoughts.
Absolutely. Everybody, just send your warmth and your wonderful healing thoughts towards Lindsay at this time.
Yes.
She's having a hard time, and just let her know
how
much her family here and with Global Witness that we love you.
Yes, feel our embrace.
We want you to know that you are loved by a large amount of people, and that we want to manifest that type of divinity to give you the strength that you need at this time.
Exactly.
You know,
and feel our love, and feel our warmth, and feel our hugs, and feel us surrounding you as a family of light that we are. and let our light shine upon your heart to help you heal.
J. Alex says, you two are wonderful. I feel privileged to have the opportunity to listen to your heart speak.
Thank you, J. Alex.
We are as equally,
yes,
as privileged to be able to have all of you,
yes,
to share this time with you, and to be able to, each of us, to just give of ourselves to each other. I wish we could literally converse with each other like they do in the Discord chat. But, it's a beautiful thing when we can gather together.
Yes.
And I think that's what Jesus meant when he said, when two or more are gathered, there I am in the midst with you.
Yes.
And you can bring about miraculous things. You can bring about healing. You can bring about peace. All of these things can come because it's from within you, and from within us is where we give tonight to you, sending comfort.
And so it is.
Lindsay, prayers of love for peace manifest for you and yours. Much love to you, and their lives are still here, never gone.
Yes.
Love, light, and prayers. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. This has been a wonderful time.
Yes, it has. Now, after that screaming, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sing, but...
So we got one more song.
One more song. Sorry. Sorry. Oops. No,
it's all right. Do you need this song?
Everything's like falling apart. My guitar stand. Put this up for me. Can you put this up for me?
But
yeah. There we go.
Oh, Lindsay writes, so beautiful. Thank you, my brothers and sisters in Christ. You are so welcome. So welcome. If one of us hurts,
we all hurt.
We all hurt.
Yes.
And that's the thing. We need to really just develop that compassion within us, one for another.
Exactly. And we've been taught to be separated. We've been taught to have feelings that aren't, that they're not, how do I explain this? We've been taught to fear one another, to be apart. It's time to hide from each other. It's time to get together for real. And that's what Christ wanted us, is to get together as a family and love one another unconditionally, because that's what it's all about.
Gemma says, thank you, Mark and Lynna, for helping me through this separation from the world tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. This wouldn't be this experience that we're having without you, Gemma.
Exactly.
So thank you for
we're all connected. We're all connected. We're all equal and we're all connected. We're all growing and learning, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So we got one more song.
If I could even try to sing it.
It's the classic.
Yes.
Silent Night.
Let's see here. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds pray at the night, glory stream from heaven above, heavenly host sings hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. noche de paz, noche de amor. Todos duermen en derredor, entre los astros de su luz, viene anunciando al niñito Jesús. Brilla la estrella de paz, brilla la estrella de paz. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We love you. Gosh, we love you so much. Love is a very, very important thing that we humans need.
We do.
But besides us loving you, you have to remember to love yourselves too and to love each other. Because without each other, we can't escape this planet. We need each other to do so. Have a pleasant rest of the evening.
Yes.
Next to your family and friends and those that are alone. Take this feeling that we created tonight with you and know that you're not alone. We're all with you.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Encore. You gonna do an encore?
What? Another song? We don't have.
I don't know. Do we have another one?
I didn't prepare another one.
We just do one a cappella.
Like what?
Let
me see.
How about everybody pick one?
Let's see.
Anybody have a favorite?
Jingle bell. Let me see. Jingle bell. No. She goes, no. What's another one?
I don't know. I'm just kind
Christmas song.
At a loss, but if someone recommends one, I'll sing one. One more. Noel. Oh boy.
Let me see here. I don't even know how that one goes. Let me try to find it here in my guitar thingy.
Y'all are so sweet. Don't we have just... Yep. I bet humans may find out just how much they're going to need one another.
Yeah.
No, that grandma got
Love first. That's kind of low. Let me see if I can make it out. Love you. First Noel, the angels did say, was a certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields as they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. The first Noel, the angels did say, was a certain poor shepherd in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. All right, guys.
everything. Noel, thank you so much. Kisses and hugs.
Dance. We love you guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Merry
Christmas to you all. And to all, a good night.
A good night.
Bye.